For the top part of the house, we're going to actually break it into two separate steps. One is to create the trusses to support our roof, and then the second part will be actually taking a look at the roof. All right? And when you get to the point where you have all of your exterior walls up, that's a good time to start thinking about getting in line to make sure that you have your roof completed. A lot of students wait to the end, and then we have backup, and then you find that you lose a whole day waiting in line to get your trusses done. So if you have the 4 exterior walls up and they're in place, then you're about ready to begin. I'm going to show you the process. What's critical is that we want to run our trusses from basically we'll take a look at the length of a house, but we'll run our trusses from the width, or the shorter part of the house. All right? And make our roof run off long. It'll look better than if we had long trusses and then we had long flowing roof, which is a different design. But if you look at your house will look much bigger if you basically use the trusses on the shorter part of the house. And everybody's house I know is going to be perfect, but sometimes the length from here to here is not the same as the length from here to here. Sometimes we have a bad day, or we actually put the wall on the outside, and over here we put it on the inside, and so we may have some fluctuation. So the first thing you have to do is figure out from your 2 ends which one is the longest. Because the one that's the longest is the one that we have to make, and we have to make 2 exact trusses. You can't make a long one and a short one and expect your roof to be happy. Okay, so if you have one that's long, that'll be the perfect fit, and the longer one, you'll split the difference. So the roof will set on there really nice. That's pretty cool. And then in the construction trade, aluminum siding hides a lot of sin, so no one would ever see that anyway. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to first look and see with a long wall, and you want to keep your walls as long as you can for as long as you can. You don't want a whole bunch of little pieces now trying to put those together. Structurally, that wouldn't be good for your house. So being careful, I'm going to butt the one end on the corner of my house, and I'm just going to make a small line up at the top, and I tend to do what's called the crow's mouth, making a mark like a V so I know exactly where my point was. All right? If I go like this, then I don't really know. So I want to use a crow's mouth so that I have an exact point where those come together. And I'm going to check it twice. That looks pretty good. But then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to find out this one is slightly longer. So I'm going to make a slightly larger crow's mouth so I know which one I'm going to use. And that's going to be the measurement for the longest end. Go from there. For me, then I have to take my triangle, making sure that it's straight, right? 90 degrees. I'm going to butt it up against there. And how many trusses do I need? How many do I need for my house?
2. 4. 4. 2. 2. 4.
Only 2.
2.
Because it's going to slope down, right? 1, 2. Then in a real house, I'd have to put one every 2 feet. All right, so I've actually been making a whole bunch of them. But I'm going to mark one where I need. But since I have to make 2, I'm going to make 2 at the same time. So I'm going to take my blade, making sure it's locked, not out very far, making sure that the cutting edge is down. Saw some people trying to snow plow. They had the wrong blade down, and they were like tearing it. All right, and then I'm just going to basically score lightly on here once, then score again, and then I can fold it in half. And once I fold it in half, then I can set that aside, and now I have the 2 pieces that I'm going to need for my truss. Correct?
Correct.
Now, here's the easy part. I know this goes here, and I know it's the same height, 8 feet tall. So all I have to do is find the halfway point. Now we could take the ruler, right? And I could look at this and go, all right, it's 7 3/16, so I think that's going to be 3 and whatever. Okay. That's the smart way to do it. That's how an engineer would do it. But you could also take a simple piece of paper and set it up against one end right? This is the easiest because it tells you the truth. You're not off by a 16th. You don't cut it wrong. But that right there is the length of my truss, right? Do we agree?
Yes.
So how do I find the halfway point of that?
I think you cut it.
I could cut it, but how would I know where to cut it?
You measure it in 5. You fold it in half.
I can fold it in half. All right? Now I have the perfect tool without having to go all the way to Lowe's. All right? And I'm going to lay it up here and make sure it's correct. And I'm going to mark it. And again, you can sit there with a calculator or you can figure out the halfway point. And sometimes you need to do that. But for now, I don't. I know that's exactly halfway. Do I have to do it at the halfway point?
No. No.
No, you could bring it up here, maybe come back 2 inches, but your roof is going to be sloped longer here and shorter there. And that looks cool. Maybe put a couple windows in the front. But most people want a traditional truss that's put up in the center because they're the cheapest. Once I have that, I need a straight edge. And I'm only going to do this on one side. I'm going to basically take this point here and go diagonal from up here down there and diagonal from up here to down there using my triangle. Mark it. And again, you notice I'm not using a ruler to mark my lines. That's not what a ruler is used for. It's used for measuring. Everybody see that?
Yes.
You see that? Nothing solid tones. And I would do the same thing for this garage, wouldn't I? Just be smaller, right? But again, it would still be as tall. So that's what's critical. So then I'm going to set it down on the mat. And carefully, holding it down, I'm going to use the blade, click it out one more time. And I'm going to score. While I have control of it, I'm just going to score it and work my way down. It may take me 3 or 4 times to get through. But I'm patient, because it's not going anywhere. And if you did a good job, you'd have duck lips. But actually, when you open it up, you should have 3 trusses.